Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Longbox. Well, it's Clobberin time, and that means we're going to take two characters and face them off each other in an imaginary battle. You know, we're going to be talking about the character's history, the character's villains, the character's story, even costumes and design and things like that, and pit against each other. So today we're going to pick Black Canary from DC Comics, and we're going to take Oracle. Not Oracle. That'll be a fast battle, right? Woman in a wheelchair. We're going to take Elektra from Marvel Comics and have a battle. Also, keep in mind, it's an open invite. I ask people to come in and pick your champion, and we'll talk about it. You know, it's all a good fun. I would love it if somebody was to come in and save me from pontificating by myself. So please come on in. Also, we got my co-host Marcus over here. How you doing?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, how's it going? How's it
been? We have to grow. We have to watch your beard grow.
I just want to say my comic Heroic Tales is on Indiegogo right now, as well as Fund My Comic.
That might be easier on my phone.
And you're working on something, right? Didn't you say you
finished that?
Oh, what are you working on? Do you have a link or anything you could?
I did this for Ashley Land. I'll see if I can put it in the. Well, it's not in this computer.
Oh, okay.
But I'll see if I can figure it out as we go along.
Okay.
It's on my timeline at Twitter. It got colored. It's for his. It's the new cover. It went really quick because I did it like 3 days. Because I'm a crazy person, right? I don't have to take the time.
I'm scrolling down your Twitter.
He said that it's the new. He announced it as the new cover, the cover for it. I think it's not this book he's printing now, and it's not Santa Claus. It's for let's see, what is the original thing here somewhere?
The Argonauts, the Unbreakable Argonauts.
Right, it's going to be Argonauts magazine, the cover for Argonauts magazine. That's it. And I mean, I'm not expensive, but I was really. He loved it. I mean, there was things I would have done to it. Made it look. You could look at it, and it's always looking over this way, because when you draw, particularly,
you
can twist it that way. And I was going to work it to look at you like this, and he goes, "No, I like it." He goes, "Okay." He liked every step.
Cool.
Cool. It was perfect, and it got colored. It's very nice.
As normal, I'm going to bring up my campaign. So this is on Indiegogo. What just happened here? And I'm going to play the trailer to this because I love this trailer. So I'm going to make this big, and I'm going to hit that.
You know what? I'm going to do this. Hold on.
And I wanted to show, here's the regular cover, still available on Indiegogo. I keep saying Instagram. Is the back cover.
Instagram.
And then that's the Mike Gustovich cover. This is, as of right now, only available on Indiegogo. I love that cover so much. I love that. And as I was watching this trailer, it dawned on me, if you're working on my comic book, you either have a beard or a mask, right? That's the only options. You gotta either have a beard or you gotta have a mask.
That's a great trailer. And I don't like trailers, but I like the bouncy.
Yeah.
It ends before I get aggravated, like, trailer. Let's watch the trailer again. And you don't play it that much. Everybody else, play it ad infinitum,
Yeah.
It doesn't have, like, it's not hard rock music. Like,
No,
cheesy hard rock music. It's that great jazzy.
It's like
I'm
the
an old
Incredibles.
school rockabilly type of guy. There it is. I DM'd you.
Yeah. So here you go. Here's your. This is the cover to what you say?
Yes.
Argonauts magazine.
It's good. He called it Argonauts magazine, and it's not going to be for a while. And he's going to put the original on the campaign to sell. He goes, if you don't mind, you got a campaign to sell, and we'll put it up a little more so he can make some money too. And I'm like, great, that's fine with me. He wanted it, the character kind of leaning back against a cross, maybe with some, monster hands. And then, I don't think he's leaning back as much as I would like, but every time I showed him a sketch, he's like, great, this is perfect.
Oh, good.
So I'm like, I just went with it,
Cool. And did you color this too?
Excuse me?
Did you color this yourself too?
No, God, no. He said who colored it. Let me see. I have it here.
Well, that's cool. Good to see you working.
I did not color it. I don't have a computer. I had to take it over to FedEx to scan it at 300 DPI.
It's funny.
I don't even have a scanner.
Mike Gustovich, he sent me this. He sent me this original. And
he,
I know. And I was like, oh, cool. I need a file so I could, use it. He's like, okay. So he took a picture with his phone.
Yeah. Well, I take pictures when I send you stuff. The first thing I do is I take a picture of the phone because I have cam scanner and it cleans it up. It makes it nice and clean. And then if I put artwork on, that's what mostly you guys are seeing. Like if I put it on Twitter, and that works fine. But I don't think that's sharp enough for printing.
No, so you couldn't print it.
I do know. I'm as old school as Mike Gustovich, but
so I had to go take it to Office Depot.
Yeah, that's what I did.
And I'm there with the big art, and I'm like asking the guy, I'm like, I got to scan this. I make it. He's like, okay, and he just points to the machine, and me and my wife are like, did you do this?
Because I thought it was the machine.
I put it on the machine. He hits the button, and that was it. I'm like, how much does it cost? He was like, $0.25.
It cost me 55 cents.
I thought it was going to be a big process, and he even set up the machine, so it emailed me. I was like, thanks a lot, buddy. I was embarrassed how easy it was.
I'm good with the machines at FedEx and Staples because I've been making copies of my artwork forever because I don't often have the originals. I have a lot of copies. And my writing partner has the originals before scanning and all this stuff. So it did a scanning thing. Oh, it has 300 DPI. Oh, that's his email?
The Genuine Comics wants to
find out. I think I sent my page to you that way.
How this is even an equal pairing of Black Canary versus Elektra. I wonder which he thinks is
reading up on it. I think it's more equal than we think.
Right. I was wondering who he thinks has the upper hand because I don't know.
I was saying, Black Canary.
Right, I was saying Elektra before we start speculating.
Yeah.
We got 22 people watching. If anybody wants to come in and pick a champion, we always hear what myself and Marcus have to say. Let's see if Zach-Tan or Apex wants to come in and pick a champion. But who do you want to pick, Marcus? Are you gonna?
I always seem to be picking, I guess, Black Canary.
You gonna pick Black Canary?
There's more. I just reread Black Canary. Is like it's almost as complicated as Hawkman or Green Lantern. So there's like three Black Canaries.
Which version of Elektra? From Daredevil, Elektra Assassin,
I'm thinking that, to me, Frank Miller's Daredevil and Elektra Assassin is the same Elektra, who has powers I didn't realize or didn't remember. And in Black Canary, there's like 3 Black Canaries.
Right.
But I think thinking this. I don't know. They're all the same. They're all really similar. So
you're picking Black Canary. So tell us about Black Canary.
It's Black Canary was created by Robert Kanigher and Carmine Infantino. It was in the back. She co-starred in the back of Johnny Thunder, that character that had Thunderbolt character. And Carmine thought that character is really lame. And Robert Kanigher kind of thought it too. And they said, when
Johnny Thunder, he doesn't even get respect from his own creators.
in typical comic book fashion. Hey, Carmine, how would you like to draw a hot girl? And they worked together so much that he just designed that original Black Canary with the mask and you see in Justice Society and the kind of midriff and the famous black stockings.
Right.
And that was Dinah Lance. I guess she became Diana Dinah Lance. And she was married to her husband, and she had adventures, and she had, it's the 40s, so she was a martial artist, and she could kick anybody's butt or not, or, you know.
In high heels too, right? Didn't she have high? Yeah.
Undefined powers. She wore black. She was a raven-haired girl who wore, a black dress. Probably more of a ripoff of Miss Fury, I would think.
Right. She wore a blonde wig, right?
She wore a blonde wig. Yeah.
Right.
She's now a blonde. She's officially a blonde now. She's married. And then they wanted to bring her. Apparently, they wanted to bring her. They had all the meetings of the Justice Society and Justice League, the team-ups, the yearly team-ups, right? Well, then one of those teammates, her husband dies, and she gets so upset she decides to move to Earth-1. She doesn't go back with the Justice Society. She stays with the Justice League, and that's where we, Silver Age fans and beyond, remember the Black Canary. Right. And that was still the Golden Age Black Canary. But in true comic books, somebody decided we have to figure something out because she'd be like 60 years old. How could she be running around like this? Right. So Denny O'Neil figured out that was actually her daughter. That she had put her psyche in her suspended animated daughter, and that I don't even know. I'm not that big at DC lore to how her daughter got in suspended animation, but Lance, her husband, stayed dead. His name changed a couple of times. Right. And so they became, and that's Diane, and she's Dinah Laurel Lance. And Dinah Laurel Lance, I think, is the one that's in the Birds of Prey and all that. And then Dinah Laurel Lance, the original Black Canary developed the Canary cry, but it was just the cry. But Laurel Lance had the one that's a real power.
Like a sonic scream.
Sonic scream, yeah. And they still don't know what to do with Black Canary the whole time. And they decided she got hooked up with Green Arrow.
Did she ever get an origin, like why she has the sonic scream? Like
they said genetic mutation.
Yeah, so she's
just reread it. They didn't really give her. They tried to give her some origins, but basically it all comes back down that she was a mutant. I don't remember the Earth 2 origin. I have to say, I think she always had it. It's the 40s. They just have powers,
right?
But you start rereading. So I think I know about this character, and you're sort of like, what? Especially since you haven't read the comic since 2010. What? That happened? She's on 8 teams? You know what I'm saying? I knew about Birds of Prey because I had bought the original miniseries. And then, she had that ridiculous costume that was debuted in Detective Comics. And nobody liked that. She went back to the...
Which one was the ridiculous one?
The one that had the black... It had the headdress. It had the headband, kind of like the hippie headband, and then some black canary motif on her costume because they want to cover her up. We think everybody's woke now, but they tried to woke it up in certain steps in all those years. There was always complaints about women. But what I did read, she was always a top martial artist in the DC universe.
Right.
She said currently in Chuck's time, she did train with Lady Shiva. She's supposed to be almost as good as Lady Shiva. And Oracle believes, and I did read a lot of Bird of Prey, believes that she could beat Batman. So when she put Birds of Prey, she was the one that Oracle pointed out, I want her to lead my Birds of Prey. Right. Oracle, if anybody doesn't know, is Barbara Gordon after she got shot and maimed by the Joker when she lost the use of her legs. She became the Oracle, which you had just posted that she may have been a better character.
I
may be true.
And but somebody pointed out that Oracle going back to Batgirl is like Nightwing going back to Robin. I think that's a really good actor.
Except that I met Yvonne Craig once. There always has to be a Batgirl.
Yeah, well, you see, we talk about like legacy, like I don't like Miles Morales Spider-Man, but I don't mind somebody else becoming Batgirl once Batgirl becomes Oracle, and then that name is
this is a true legacy character. I mean, but it always goes back to Dinah Laurel Lance, the one that Chuck wrote in the Birds of Prey. That's what eventually, even after New 52 and all, it all goes back to the Birds of Prey. Yeah. And then she was trained by everybody in the DC universe.
I subscribe to the the specialist theory that John Byrne does. Like if you are the Flash, you have to be the fastest. Otherwise, what's the point? So like, and I always say that Batman to me is the world's greatest detective. So Batman is the guy who you want Batman on your side to figure stuff out. I mean, Batman could fight. Obviously, he could fight. The Flash could fight, but nobody would ever say that the Flash is the world's greatest fighter. But like Black Canary, I have no problems with her beating Batman, other than the fact that Batman's a gigantic muscle-bound dude, you know, and she's not.
Now he's a gigantic muscle-bound dude.
But I look at the thing that makes me say that Batman could be is because she has a superpower. Like, you know what I mean? Like her
I didn't get to her superpower yet.
Like her sonic scream could like liquefy steel. It's like, I don't know. So that to me, her specialty is the sonic power. But yes,
I remember the sonic power used to wear her out a lot. Now,
right.
But I really remember her in Longbow Hunters by Mike Grell, because that was the thing that was the graphic novel in the deluxe format that came out after Dark Knight, was as good or better than Dark Knight in a lot of ways,
very
particularly
realistic.
Artistically. But he had her Mike Grell and Mike Grell fashion had her brutally raped and almost murdered, which made Green Arrow turn even to a dark character for the next 100 issues. As opposed to superhero, was not a superhero,
and she was damaged.
Had to deal with that for a long time.
She lost her superpowers. So
that's right.
And then he did a Green Arrow series set in Seattle, which was very grounded, like Green Arrow.
Really grounded.
He only used bows and arrows, like normal bows and arrows. Like
he
never called himself Green Arrow.
I love that series.
Yeah, and she was a martial artist without powers. I think it wasn't until maybe like around issue 20 or so of Birds of Prey where she was submerged in a Lazarus pit and she came out with her powers again. Yeah. During Chuck Dixon's Bird of Prey, Black Canary didn't have her powers. I forget how she got her powers back in Birds of Prey. I don't remember if Chuck Dixon.
I can't imagine Chuck really liking her with powers. That's not a Chuck thing.
But they put her in a Lazarus pit. And I remember she came out all crazy, yelling and screaming and knocking stuff down.
That happened to her in the TV show too.
And yet, poor Barbara Gordon, nobody threw her in the pit, you know, to get her legs back. So,
well, you know, the Lazarus pit is not always a positive,
right?
That's RT Bear. He has a Lazarus pit in his basement.
Is that what he says? That's
what Aaron Lopresti claims.
Oh.
They claim that Art's 125 years old. You know.
Looks good for 125. I'm going back to because I was skipping all the Elektra comments because it's not Elektra's turn yet. But thing I always remember about the Black Canary is the the Justice League, the James Matisse, Keith Giffen. She had that blue outfit that I kind of liked, but she had that Marquee Post from Night Court hair.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
But she
I like the costume. She had it in Birds of Prey, the Gary Frank that does it. But we always have to go back. The cleavage bearing fishnets. We always have to go back to that.
She kind of had like that Zatanna stage girl outfit. Like a
that was so awesome. Her and Zatanna. They couldn't make those costumes.
I'm trying to think so what her. I hate to say, but her big story to me, and I'm probably wrong, is the Longbow Hunters, where she.
I think it is. She was always a member of the team. She was never had her own comic. Birds of Prey is the closest thing to being the leader of the team, and her bickering with Oracle the whole time, not wanting to do it. Or she was a lot, and basically her personality through all her iterations of different characters. Mother basically the same, always falls in love with Ollie, Oliver Green,
Oliver Queen.
Also, my cat's name is Oliver. Green Arrow each time. They had her break up. She never became a Black Lantern. She never did. Nothing ever crazy happened to her. She lost her powers. She gained her powers. Her powers, became more powerful, less powerful, just like a lot of other stuff. Mike's total danger.
Yeah, she was always a support character for the most part. And I do agree with you. It wasn't until Birds of Prey where she became I do think that the Huntress, Black Canary, and Oracle, they were 3 stars. It wasn't Oracle's book with 2 co-stars.
No, I read the first limited series, Gary, and then I tried to buy it until comics got too expensive. I was trying to buy a regular, so I must have liked it. And then I went back and pirated the other ones for reasons to look at Jackson Geiss's art for the long run. You don't even realize how long a run that is. And she really was kind of more of the star than Oracle in a lot of ways.
Yeah, well, she was the front person. Oracle was, the Charlie. If I may date myself with a Charlie's Angels reference, but Oracle was she was the squad leader, the intelligence expert. Like Ned Leeds said in that Spider-Man movie, "I'll be your intercom guy," and then Black Canary was the point person out doing the missions.
Some of the characters, some of the people who read comics now could tell us if, now, if she's like, I don't need no man type of woman.
Oh, I wouldn't know.
She's still the same.
Yeah, Black Canary liked her men. She liked Ollie. She
always was
dated a couple of supervillains, not knowing they were villains. She liked her boys. So basically,
but she really is a top martial artist, and
right.
She was trained by not just Lady Shiva, but other top martial artists. The iteration that we're talking about, that middle iteration, the Silver Age to Birds of Prey, because they change, but they're kind of the same because it's a Hawkman type of thing. The Earth 2, Earth 1, it's all that stuff is every character that has to go from Earth 2 to Earth 1.
They retconned it so that her mom was the Golden Age Black Canary, and she's the modern.
That's the simplest way to think. That's what I thought before, but they gummed it up. Not as bad as Hawkman, but it's gummed up. Nothing's worse than Hawkman.
Yeah, Hawkman is the worst continuity ever.
And I like Hawkman. What
I love Hawkman
character.
So I think that we covered everything about Black Canary.
Were you the one who doesn't like the Ted Grant Wildcat bikes?
I like Ted Grant.
Somebody doesn't like Ted Grant.
I love Ted Grant. It's one of the worst costumes, and at the same time, paradoxically, it's great.
How dare you, Erwin Hasten, one of my teachers?
That's what I'm saying. It's like the original Adam. That brown, yellow, and blue costume is so bad. It's great.
Remember Dondi in the Daily News? Dondi, remember that comic strip? Dondi? Yeah. That was Erwin Hasten. Boy, when I was a kid, I hated Dondi.
Oh, I didn't know that. Hi, Lord Zart. We didn't start the fight yet. We're still talking the Black Canary. The last thing I want to bring up with Black Canary is, like, you're right. There was a series of fights, and I forget if it was in Richard Dragon or if it was in Birds of Prey, but it was Chuck Dixon, Denny O'Neil, and I forget who the artist was, but it was basically just like a contest of champion, and it started a pecking order of all the martial artists in DC. Now, I don't claim to have eidetic memory, but I do remember it was Richard Dragon and Lady Shiva were like the 2 top martial artists, and to me that makes sense. Richard Dragon, he's supposed to be the martial artist, so that if he's not the best, then what good is he? And Batman was like number 3, and then like Black Canary was like number 4. So but then again, this changes because DC is. The only consistency with DC is the inconsistency in which they change their continuity. So
DC, ever since Crisis, when I was a kid,
they never recovered.
I wasn't the world's largest DC guy, but I bought DC Comics. I never had a problem when I was a little kid.
Right, it was easy to understand.
At all. Earth 1, Earth 2. And some of the early 70s, like when I was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, we got Superman comics, 100-page Super, all the characters. I never had a problem with any of that, and they decided that it was terribly complicated and nobody could start it up.
And they made it more complicated.
And I like Crisis. I like it. I like it as a comic. I love George Perez, but they handled it so poorly. They've been redoing Crisis about every other year. New 52. Right. There's a couple of Crisis things that I bought. That Jerry Ordway did, and whatever that one 0 Hour. It's just, and they keep doing it. Now Marvel has their problems, but they never really rebooted their whole stuff.
Right, they did soft reboots, and since we're bringing up,
they never did a hard reboot. I'd like to bring up this.
This is a comic that Tonic Bowl, myself, and Oscar Crano are working on, called Eddie is Doomed. It's about a poor schlub. He's been collecting comics his whole life, and his dad wants to retire, so it's time to move out of the basement. He goes to the comic shop and finds out that Top Comics, the comics that he's been collecting his whole life, is ending its continuity and starting it. So basically, it's Love and Rockets meets Crisis on Infinite Earths. Eddie, both of his worlds are ending. His comic book world is ending, and his real world is ending. Eddie is Doomed, coming soon by the master storytellers of Oscar Crano, Tonic Mole, and then some schlub named John from John's Longbox.
I have a question about that. Are there going to be hot chicks in there in that show like they are in Love and Rockets?
In the superhero world, there will be.
It is, but I expect Tonic Mole to be drawing something hot.
My lips remain sealed.
That's what Tonic Mole does for a living. So
yeah, Tonic Mole. For those of you who don't know, Tonic Mole draws a comic called Saving the World, and Tonic Mole, to show you how good Tonic Mole is, I asked him if I could buy or commission.
Hey, how you doing,
original art.
TNZ.
So what does Tonic Mole send me? The actual first appearance of Kiera, the main character of his. This is the page. So when Tonic Mole eventually gets hit by a car, this is going to pay my mortgage. This is the original page of the first appearance in costume of the main character of Saving the World. Tonic Mole, you're such a bad businessman.
I wonder. I was like, Tonic Mole.
It'll be the next Action Comics #1.
Right. There you go. There you go. But
I've got to ask John and Marcus. So, because which version of Elektra will make most of the difference?
Okay,
is it
so
this Elektra?
Okay, you're the champion. You came in just in time. You're going to champion Elektra. Go.
Well, it really depends. I mean, if it's Elektra from Elektra Assassin, so I've got to do a bit of show and tell, John.
Okay.
So I've had this 20 odd years. It's falling apart, as you can see. It's in pieces.
We call that well.
Yeah, that's
well. I got the man himself. Nice. Yeah, I met him about 10 years ago. He was down here in New Zealand, and I got him to sign it. Because my favorite panel from any comic ever made in the entirety of the universe is in this comic, which I will share with you now, just to lighten up your day. So for those of you who have had shitty jobs before or shitty bosses, this panel here is for you. This is Agent Garrett's job appraisal. Yeah. And there you can see it's very badly displayed by me, but it is a great panel, and it's got him and his face and screens around him with words like putz, douchebag, inept yo-yo, and his boss is screaming at him, shameless, incompetent, and stupid, which by coincidence was exactly what my boss screamed at me during my first work appraisal at my first serious job. Shameless, incompetent, and stupid.
That's what my wife said to me when I told her I wanted to make a comic book.
She did
so
not.
Yeah.
She never said that.
The Zoom call of evil.
Yeah, but so this version of Elektra actually has superpowers. She can stop bullets by catching them. She can punch through Kevlar body armor. She can do, she can swap people's minds. She's kind of psychic. So I think we have to eliminate this version of Elektra. I think that's too unfair.
Although I think that the psychic powers stuck with her.
The rules of It's Clobbering Time is we pretty much take like the average,
all right.
Like
not this
Superman versus the Thing. We're not going to bring up that electric version of Superman.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So we're going to talk with the most common version of Elektra. What would we agree is the most common version of Elektra?
How about this? How about the Elektra that is killed by Bullseye? Spoilers. Yeah. Sorry, everyone. Spoilers.
So tell who is Elektra? Let's start at the beginning. Who is Elektra?
Well, it's been retconned a bit, but Elektra Nachios is the daughter of a Greek diplomat who meets.
Wait, I got to stop you. How do you pronounce her last name? I've never heard it pronounced.
Well, I don't know if I'm not Greek, right? So right. I'm guessing it's Nachios or Nachios. Don't know. And if you're anyone Greek here, please correct me.
Okay.
She's the daughter of a Greek diplomat, and she's going to which university is NYU that Matt Murdock goes to?
I think Columbia.
Yeah.
Columbia, right? She and Matt meet at law school at Columbia, and they, have a romance. It was retconned early in the 2000s to be a bit. So she was a bit more of a nutcase, but anyway, Elektra is great. She is Matt Murdock's best and worst girlfriend at the same time. She's fantastic. If you've seen the Daredevil television with the Netflix program, I think they actually captured a lot of the character. It wasn't exactly like the comics, but they captured the essence of her, that she is an incredibly dangerous and unpredictable person at the same time as being quite a loyal, caring person. So it's really, she's a really interesting character.
You were on her side. She was, it was. But in the net, I love the Netflix Daredevil. I think it's one of the best things Marvel ever did. They did such a great job. They boiled away and kept the essence that made the characters the characters. The only real disagreement that I have, but it works for the show, so I'm not upset, is they basically made Elektra a serial killer before her father was even killed. You know what I mean? Like, she was damaged goods.
Yeah. Well.
But I also agree, you don't become a life of vengeance and murder. Over, like Batman, if I was to write Batman, and I know people wouldn't like it, but kid Batman that went to go see Zorro, that kid had problems before that. Punisher had problems before his family got killed. That's the way I would make it. Like, you don't just all of a sudden, well, now I'm going to dress up as a bat and kill people. Like, Batman had.
Thanks.
Netflix Punisher. I never liked the Punisher as a character, but the Netflix Punisher made him a complete human being.
Right. Like,
you understood where his problems came from, and that they must have consulted veterans to write that. It's terrific series. They made him a really rounded, a full realized character, whereas the comics not so much. But anyway.
In the comics,
back to Elektra.
She was like an athletic ballet dancer or a gymnast.
Well, she did martial arts from a very early age, karate first. She's black belt by age 12, but she had personal training from very high level sensei in Japan, and so she wanted to join Stick's order. Now, there's another great part of the Netflix series. Scott Glenn as Stick, perfect casting, just couldn't do better, right? So she wanted to join Stick's order, and in the Netflix series sees her taken in by Scott Glenn and sort of raised by him because she's meant to be this black sky thing, which came later. That's a later addition to the lore, right? But she's taken in. She wants to become part of Stick's order, but she's ultimately cast out because the anger, the bitterness she holds in her heart, right? And then she is taken in and seduced by the Hand, the evil ninja. Association, and Miller does some other stuff with the Hand in this, which we can leave out. But she, to me, would be the peak of human skillfulness, right? She would be someone
to perfection.
Yeah. She can fight Daredevil on an even basis and hold her own. He's physically bigger, stronger. She's as skilled as he has, if not a little bit more. Depending on what weapons are available is who has the edge. She and Daredevil about even. If she fought Captain America, I think she'd lose because Captain America's peak human, right?
Captain America's awesome.
Yeah. He can do things that she can't. So Captain America, you sort of see him as the greatest. I think of him as the greatest fighter in the Marvel universe, right?
I agree with that,
great comment by Zach, and that's spot on that.
It took me about 20 years before I realized that the Foot Clan in Teenage Mutant was directly a goof on the Hand in Daredevil.
I was feeling that.
I never said I was smart.
That Elektra knows specific martial arts, and to me, Daredevil's an amalgam of a lot of martial arts, and he kind of does Daredevil martial arts. He can box and go brawl with people, and he can, because it's just his athleticism. As opposed to being trained by, even though he was trained by Stick, that was more for his blindness.
Because Daredevil has superhuman senses. So I think he would react and move differently than a normal human. Like Daredevil is a superhuman. You know what I mean? And like Spider-Man, like I don't consider Spider-Man a martial artist, but Spider-Man has got the increased agility, the increased strength. So like I think skill-wise, Elektra is probably more skilled, but let's be realistic. Spider-Man would mop the floor with Elektra. But I think skill-wise, I think Elektra probably is more skilled at like Marcus said, she probably has like 2 or 3 martial arts where she's the top. Whereas I'd like to think somebody like Captain America is probably, because of his peak human, like he's the best fighter, but I don't think he's Mr. Jiu-Jitsu or Mr.
No, I agree with that. That's true.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I think these are petty, nerdy, and I love these kind of niggling details of comic book art. I could argue this nonsense all day long.
But I love the World War II Captain America would just pick up a Tommy gun, you know.
Yeah, I'll say this though. So when we get to Black Canary against Elektra, Elektra does have one significant advantage. It is not a physical advantage. It is a tactical and an attitude advantage, and that is Elektra is a killer. Right. Elektra is ruthless, and she will not hesitate to kill someone.
Right.
Except Matt Murdock being perhaps and Foggy Nelson, who she knows personally, being the only exceptions. You know, she will not hesitate to murder someone straight up. Whereas Black Canary is not a killer.
Right.
And I think
Black Canary is a hero.
But
that very well. Elektra is not a hero.
Right.
Well,
to the point where I will say that. I'm sorry, Marcus. What'd you say?
I was going to say Elektra's mind powers did last through. That was the one thing. The superpowers doing that you were talking about with her. But are we going to count that she can take over other people's minds and all that? I mean, no, I think stuck. But I don't. When I read her in The Enemy of the State with Wolverine, I don't remember that though. I just remember her being Elektra, like you say.
Yeah,
I remember her having some sort of like psychic pill, like she could heal, like when she had the white outfit and when she had the red outfit, like she could like do like a death touch and things like that.
Frank Miller being really angry they brought her back.
But I'm also going to say, you just took the words out of my mouth. She never should have came back from the dead.
Yeah, they just read Dan Chichester wanted to brought her back from the dead, and the editor Ralph Macchio let her do it. Now he did it to his defense. He didn't want to do it as a gimmick. He wanted to do it as a part of a character in his story. But I didn't read those Daredevils. When Daredevil changed his costume, I was like, bad Scott McDaniel artwork before it became Scott McDaniel who drew Nightwing. I had the comics, but I don't remember reading any of those. Once he changed out of the Daredevil costume, wow.
Yeah, Elektra should, like, again, there was no need for the Phoenix Force. These are my comic book hills that I'll die on. There was no need for the Phoenix Force. If your name is Phoenix, you get to come back from the dead. That's just part of the name. And Elektra should have stayed dead. You know, and I will have accepted that they brought her back. She, like, if I was to write comic books, Elektra comes back from the dead and she is horrified because she went to hell. She was a killer and she knows what's waiting for her. And now she wears the white and then she goes off and becomes like a nun and like becomes like a good person. But the fact that she dies, goes through everything, and she's still a contract killer, you know, it just, I don't know. Like I'd like to think that, you know, death means something.
Good luck.
Yeah. What do I know? What do I know?
Well, you know, she could have the Phoenix Force, but that doesn't have to be the reason why she came back. Her name is Phoenix. You're right.
Right. Yeah. If you pick the name Phoenix, again, the name is the focus of the superhero. You know, and Phoenix is main. Like, just like if you call yourself Dragon Boy, you probably get to breathe fire because that's one of the things. But okay, I got Ernest on my side. And Ernest even has a Daredevil avatar. So that's double points scored over here. So there you go. Yeah.
Richard Dragon doesn't breathe fire. Just saying.
Right. Well, that's a cool last name. That's not a superhero name. Well, it's probably not even his given name. That's probably his cool fighting name.
I heard his name was really Dick Smith, you know.
Dick Smith. Yeah. But you know what I mean? If anyway, I read so many times about the superhero name is the focus of the character, and if you get one thing out of me and my channel is that's my philosophy on superheroes. What are you gonna say? RR.
I was about to say. So which version?
Game of Thrones, by the way.
Eh?
When are you gonna finish Game of Thrones? Oh, different RR. I was gonna say
no, different RR. Yeah, no. Never. I didn't even. The first episode involves incest and throwing children out of windows, so that's me out. Right. I did the first episode of Game of Thrones and I was done. I appreciate people like it. Fine, fair enough. I'm also Lord of the Rings myself. I was in the Hobbit movie for 7 seconds, so
Oh yeah,
I was an extra.
Yeah,
the 7 worst.
But anyway,
my wife was in Hunger Games.
Oh, really?
Oh, nice.
And as an extra, yeah. Somewhere you can see her hand, I think.
Nice. Yeah, one of those 3 fingers salute things.
Yeah.
I thought the idea of was dying made her more violent. Is that what happened? Well, if you come back from the Lazarus pit, you just go through like these spasms of insanity, and then you calm down because Ra's al Ghul, that guy must have went into the Lazarus pit up untold times, and he's still like a master villain. I mean, yeah, but he's in control of himself. Maybe he's criminally insane.
I don't think everybody. Well,
insane.
How many people do we know that goes through the Lazarus pit?
Well,
I think that takes.
Barbara Gordon went into it. I mean, granted, she wasn't dead. It healed her. Black Canary went into it. Red Hood went into it. You come
Red
out
Hood,
like a lunatic, but I think you calm down eventually.
Was the experience of dying, right?
They tie you up and throw you in.
Well, they who did they? I remember. Yeah, in the TV show, at least 3 people went through.
Arrow.
In Arrow, they did go through episodes of these people just being crazed, going through like berserker rages.
Didn't Ollie go through it because he gets killed by Ra's al Ghul in
Did he?
He gets killed by Ra's al Ghul season 3.
Yeah,
I didn't watch the show.
The early seasons of Arrow are really good.
People say
I enjoy it. It's the thing I watch on the airplane when I go to my dad's house. Then I watch it. Then I go to my dad's house once you watch 4 episodes.
Do you like the whole thing, or like just which do you prefer, the earlier or later?
I like season 4 more than most people because the characters, they're pretty well defined and it hasn't gone too crazy. It's probably something they shouldn't have brought too much mysticism or superhero powers into it, but I don't see how they could avoid it. But the actor is very good at playing that Oliver Queen / Bruce Wayne character. That they have.
Who was the main villain?
Oliver Queen. He is definitely Batman.
Who was the main villain in season 4? Do you remember?
It's that guy. I can look it up because I remember. You see him; he's in like everything.
Was he Magic?
Green Arrow was a ripoff of.
Oh, that was Damien Dark.
Damien Dark, yeah,
played by Neil McDonough, the blonde guy. He's bad guy and everything.
He's so good.
Yeah,
and
great actor.
I've heard interviews of him. He's such a good man, as opposed to most Hollywood people, that I like him and everything. So that really, even though
I don't like,
even though the end of the season is more than ridiculous, and then you just want to get rid of his girlfriend, what's her face, the whole time. About after season 4, enough. Why are you mad at Green Arrow? He's mad. Oh, there's too much of that stuff.
Season 5 has a great ending. Hey, season 5 with
season 5 yet.
Have you not seen season 5? I think the series, I think it peaked in season 5. And I'm going to say the season 5 ending of Arrow is probably one of the best episodes. Just saying.
I watched the end of it. Like, I liked Flash too for the first few seasons.
Yeah, same.
Particularly the first 2 seasons.
Oh,
But and I held on. I haven't finished it. I intend, much like John, I want to finish these things. But after a while, Flash is so powerful that he literally has to act really stupid to get defeated. So he stops and he talks to you don't really want to rob that bank, do you? And somebody comes up behind him and knocks him in the head. Yeah. He doesn't need a team of people helping him. And then they got rid of some of that team. And when his wife started running the team because they needed for her something to do, shit, that character, I mean, talk about woke. They woke that up with her being the head of something. She was always a bad character, too. Iris was terrible. He had no chemistry. That actor had no chemistry with Iris.
No. He should have been the film Flash, though. That actor, Grant Gustin.
Yeah,
very well cast.
Very good. He was very
brilliant
good
casting.
As Flash. He always was good. Even in the ones that aren't good, he was good at Flash. He was good. He was a good Flash.
Well, back to the ladies. Who would you cast if you were making this? So you're doing Elektra versus Black Canary as a TV episode.
I'm at a time machine.
Who are you going to cast?
Any actress and put them in their prime. Like Marky Post is Black Canary. In her ultimate hotness.
I like Marky Post.
Oh my
Cynthia
God.
Rothrock. Cynthia Rothrock.
That's a good one. And then Elektra. I really like. The name is escaping me right now. There's a couple like Madeline Stowe I would pick, or and curl out her hair.
Catherine Zeta-Jones. Go Welsh all the way.
She's beautiful, but Elektra has to have something more exotic looking about her.
Come on now. She was in Zorro. She was in Zorro, Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
Sword fight.
I know people will get mad at me, but 1969 Cher would be a good Elektra.
Really?
Yeah, she's got that tall, skinny. You just curl out her hair. But there's another actress that's perfect right now, and I can't think. I like the woman who played her in the TV show.
Elodie Young, the French actress, very good.
Yeah, she's French, but she must have some sort of Indian or in her because she doesn't look Greek at all.
Yeah, she's part Asian. I think she's part some Vietnamese or Indonesian.
She is beautiful, and it's funny because she looks just like my buddy's wife. And I says, did she act like Elektra? And he's like, yeah. I got to do what I'm told. She looks like her. She acts like her.
She doesn't age either. She looks the same as she did 10 years ago. It's crazy.
I that's one of my favorite things is like characters in my comic. I tell Renzo he looks like this actor, and I definitely said Patriarch is John Hamm kind of, yeah.
John Hamm.
Yeah. So, what's the best Elektra story? Everybody likes Elektra Assassin. I'm not the greatest about Elektra Assassin, but I do admit her story with that ended at the hands of Bullseye, I think is her best classic story.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'll go with that one. This is I think of this as an Elseworlds type story. It's so removed from Marvel continuity regular that it's really its own world, its own thing. Although Nick Fury's in it. There's some great comments about Nick Fury, which we cannot say on your channel.
Right. Yeah, the Greg Rooker run was good, but are those the ones with those painted covers that I just remember my friends came over and saw those covers. They're like, this is comic books? They thought it was like Maxim or whatever those semi girly mags that didn't really have nudity, but they had girls and sexy. I'm like, that's a drawing, but they look photorealistic. They, in the early 2005 or so. Yeah, the Greg Horn covers. Yes,
Horn covers. Yeah.
Yeah, I clicked on it, but
I don't like Greg Horn that much. I don't mind him.
Okay, but my computer's acting weird. I'm trying to bring up comments, but nothing's happening. There we go. All right, my computer froze for a second. Yeah, and to tell you the truth, she's dating Wolverine and stuff. I don't know. I think they diminished the character of after 2000. It's like they diminished the character of Elektra, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But, all right, so we've been talking for 48 minutes now. Here's the thing. I don't think it's too difficult to come up with a scenario where they fight. Do you guys have any ideas of how
New York City? They're both urban warriors, right? They're both urban warriors. They're going to meet in an alley somewhere or on a rooftop, right? That's what we see these fight. Rooftop.
So here's my scenario. The mob pays Elektra to kill another mob guy who's about to flip and talk to the feds. So Elektra is going in to kill a mob guy. Black Canary doesn't want anybody to die, but they also want to hear the testimony of this rat, or you know what I mean? So, So there's a scenario. And we're talking typical Black Canary, and I think typical Black Canary has the canary cry, and I say typical Elektra, and I do think that typical Elektra has some sort of mesmerism to her, almost like the Shadow, but she can't shoot lightning bolts, and I don't remember her ever just switching minds and mind control.
So Elektra as a superhero name isn't really that good of a superhero name,
right? Well, it's
Greek
mythology. It's based on a Greek play.
Complex. Right.
Yeah, it's from a Greek play, right?
It's the
All
female.
right.
It's the female Oedipus complex. The Elektra.
Yeah,
she's by the rules.
She's daughter of Agamemnon. Hey,
right.
Is it Sophocles or Euripides who wrote that one?
I don't know.
Remember.
But, there was a Greek play called Euripides. It was about a toga that got ripped, and it was fixed by Eumenides.
Yeah. You beat me to it. You beat me to it. That's the one joke, eh? That's
my classical Greek joke. But anyway, here's the scenario. So I talked up. What do you guys think?
Yep, I'm with you. It's got to happen on a rooftop, though. Rooftops got because that's Daredevil. That's
formed by Frank Miller.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the crime street level crime fighting arena is rooftops, right? So you got a rooftop.
Got to have a water tower.
Right.
What weapons
aerials,
do the participants have?
Aerials,
Yeah. What weapons do Elektra and
like you have to jump, but if you miss the jump, you fall 18 stories to your death.
Yeah.
That's classic. That's classic Daredevil, Frank Miller terrain. Okay, what does Mike say? The only benefit Canary has, she's battled stronger opponents than Elektra was when she was. Yes, but she also did it with Batman, Green Lantern, and Superman as backup.
So I think that Elektra has to have her psi. That's Elektra's.
Of course she has to have her.
And then I know that Black Canary usually has some sort of almost like a Daredevil Billy Club thing.
Yeah.
Doesn't she have
sticks, right?
Well, she has the Scream, but she does have that.
No, they called the Eskrima sticks.
Oh, that's
hang on.
I didn't even know. All right, cool. Yeah.
Is that Black Canary? Wait a minute. Is that Black Canary or is that Mockingbird you're thinking of?
Mockingbird also has sticks. That was like
Mockingbird's a ripoff of Black Canary, so there's that.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's also it's also let's give them a weapon so they could beat people, but it's non-lethal. That's why Daredevil, a lot of them have Billy Club.
Yeah. No, Filipino Kali sticks is Screamer, right? That's what you mean.
So there they go.
Exactly, yeah.
So Black Canary is there guarding this guy. Elektra shows up to murder him. Go. I'll be quiet for a little bit.
Well, Elektra's going to kill the guy regardless. That guy's dead, right? So, I mean, the opening move for Elektra is to put a scythe through the back of his head or his chest or something, or sucking chest wound, whatever. Elektra kills the guy first because that's what she's an assassin, she's a ninja. So she strikes from the shadows silently, kills the dude, and then it's a question of can she escape before Canary takes her down.
So you think she actually gets? I was going to say she gets by, and Canary is like literally standing in front of him to kill, and the guy's like, whoa,
Ninja. She's going to strike from surprise, right? And she's not going to strike Black Canary first because she's not there to kill her. And then, so Elektra's ruthless, but she's not a cruel character. Well, except to Matt sometimes, but she wouldn't kill Black Canary first because she doesn't need to.
So now Black Canary is not going to let her go. So they're fighting. Daredevil is like mission accomplished. And they're fighting. And what Zach Tan says over here, she's not going to use a scream if she's fighting a martial artist unless they obviously have powers. So so I wonder now. This is involving meta. Does Elektra know who Black Canary is? I mean, how could you be a member of the Justice League and not be known to somebody like Elektra? But somebody like Elektra, why would they be known to somebody on the Justice? So I could see Elektra going, this is a meta-human. You know what I mean? And I could see Black Canary being like, this is just another ninja. I'm not going to just scream at her and blow her face off. You know what I mean? So I'm going to start doing
But also, who else is around? Because Black Canary's scream is not a tight beam; it's an area effect, right? So if there are other people there, Black Canary is going to be hesitant to use a scream because she's going to affect them too.
Right. So that's what I mean. Like if the guy was alive, she would be handicapped by not being able to use her power because it would hurt him. So they're like what was that Eddie Murphy movie? They're doing flip flops. They're doing kung fu. They're doing funk. So they're just
the Golden Child.
Yeah, they're just hitting each other away. She's got the size, So they're battling out. Elektra's out the window. You know what I mean? She's whether or not There you go.
So I think that
wasn't weird at all.
Black Canary might be a better fighter than Elektra. I mean, if she's Lady Shiva, but she doesn't have the intensity and brutality of Elektra. She won't, like you said before, like, she's not going to go as far, and that might be her undoing if it's a battle to the death. You know,
because Lady Shiva's best of the best in DC.
I think Black Canary would have the harder time because she's not striking to kill, and she's fighting somebody with how long is the sight? 18 inches. You know what I mean? So she's got a longer. Yeah, she's got a longer reach with a lethal weapon. So Black Canary,
have that in New Zealand.
So Black Canary can hit to.
Are you allowed to have that in New Zealand? I mean, come on. It's like
I found it. It was lying on the floor. I don't know where it came from. It's not mine.
So I could see Black Canary could land a few punches. Elektra.
Absolutely.
Elektra only has to land one. You know what I mean? Because she's got the size on her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, sai traditionally, I mean, they can be sharpened, right? But they're usually for catching weapons. They're also used to poke and to strike with. There's a lot of weight in these, right?
Right, and they're more for striking. They're also used to break katanas. People don't realize that the Japanese sword, the katana, is very breakable. So you go like this, and then you literally twist, and it'll snap a katana. So that's what they're for. A katana, we as comic book people and nerds think they're the greatest weapon. A katana is a piece of crap weapon. You literally have to be trained with an upward stroke. You know what I mean? And I forget who it was, the Japanese. He was like a guy using a broom, and he said, I could beat all these samurais, and they got pissed off. He literally was using a broom and beat all the samurais because the
Muso Gonosuke, he invented Jojitsu, I think. That's one of the Musashi stories, eh?
Right.
The Musashi stories.
So we have this, a romanticized thing about katana. I mean, I had a superhero. One of my first characters when I was 14, Silent Fury, had katanas. But
beat him with a broom.
Beat him with a broom. I scared away Marcus. It's okay, Marcus. If Canary has the cry, I would give it to her. Having normal weapons is good. Yeah, but we're talking in my version of the story. She's defending somebody who's still alive, so she doesn't want to scream.
All right.
Because it's an area effect, and I also think she's a Justice Leaguer. Like Green Lantern is just not going to unleash with a freaking 16-ton weight on a random ninja that's coming out to kill a mob guy. Superman doesn't just shoot heat vision right away. But yet Elektra logically, she'll come out for the kill from the get go.
Yeah, but not for Canary, only for the intended target, right? Do you know how this fight ends? Yeah, exactly. And do you know how this fight ends, though? I see Canary knocking Elektra off the building, and there's that old trope. She runs to the edge, looks down,
and she's gone.
Nowhere to be seen. She's nowhere to be seen. She's gone. Ninja.
So I mean, if it gets to the point where I think Canary realizes, because I think they're evenly matched. When it comes to just flip flop kung fu, I don't think any one of them is gonna beat the other one. Minus powers. Forget about any sort of psychic powers, sonic screams. I think they're gonna fight, and it's gonna be like we can't win this. So like the fact that Elektra has a sai and really only has to hit her once, I think it comes down to like, I'm getting tired. She's got a deadly weapon. I have to scream, and I think that's the deciding factor on the fight. What do you guys think?
I think that's pretty fair. I think Elektra would still escape, but I think that's a pretty fair way of looking at it. That's I disagree that that they're even. I think despite Black Canary being trained by Lady Shiva, who's the best in DC, I think that Elektra would have a slight physical edge, and that she's not concerned about how much damage she does with a punch or a stab or a strike, because she's not worried about killing. She's not holding back as much, right? And she's not interested in keeping Canary alive, although she wouldn't at the same time be that interested in killing her. I mean, if there's no benefit to it, right?
Well, like Zach had said, if she knows she's Justice League, she wouldn't kill her, because that would just bring the holy wrath of Batman and Green Lantern.
I don't think Elektra cares about that sort of thing. I don't think Elektra is in some ways, she's quite reckless, and she doesn't feel fear about those sorts of things, right? There are things that frighten her, but that's not one of them. You know, I don't think she'd be worried about that. What do you reckon, Marcus?
Well, I think I keep going back to Elektra. Elektra's going to win. I'm not sure exactly why, but I think she is more violent, more brutal, more determined than Black Canary. Or the Birds of Prey Black Canary didn't do a whole lot of superhero things, because when Chuck Dixon writes something, eventually they don't do superhero things.
Right.
They morph into.
He had Power Girl take an airplane across the country, across the world.
Yeah, they eventually not do superhero things. He says, well, Power Girl, well, why would she want to tire herself out? But that's not exactly what when you're writing a superhero comic, you really don't think about that. So they eventually do non-superhero things. They kept him from that with Batman for the most part, but that was a grounded character. So there's that. So that maybe version of the Black Canary has a better chance. It might be may be able to match the intensity of Elektra, but Elektra has just a little bit more, and I think she wins. She might not kill Black Canary, but she wins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
unless Black Canary
I have
uses
a hard
her
time
screen.
thinking she would kill Black Canary for,
right?
No profit, right? There's no profit in it.
And she is reckless, but like, she's a world famous A-list team superhero. You don't, I do think you take that, if you're a professional, you take that into consideration. Yeah. It would like bring down the Hand or whatever group that she's in. I could almost see her being like, oh wait, my target is being protected by Black Canary. I could see her calling it in, like, do you want me to proceed? Because if the Justice League's involved.
Well, at the end of the episode, Elektra joins the Birds of Prey. That's what.
There you go. Yeah.
No, I'd say I think the target dies though. Like, it depends what the conditions of victory are. For Elektra, she kills the guy. That's victory, right? I mean, even if she has to escape and run away.
Yeah, but we're talking fight. That who would win the fight?
Well, if there was put the two of them in a locked room together, no superpowers, no weapons, like put them in the octagon for a UFC match. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. Maybe Black Canary in just hand to hand, nothing else. Maybe Black Canary.
But I just can't help but think it's just so evenly matched that sooner or later, out of desperation, Black Canary screams, and that's the end of the fight. But I see that unless Elektra could pull out a win first. So I don't know. I'd say, for me personally, and I'd say like three times out of four, Black Canary wins just because of the screen factor. But I do see Elektra could win.
That's a very good way to do things, though. Times out of 10 or times out of 5.
There you go. I didn't even realize this. What Lloyd Zart was saying. Thunderdome. Elektra would annihilate Canary. So some people don't agree with this.
I think if you bring,
we can all agree that you could get heroic tales on Fund My Comic. We can all agree on that.
So what do you think, we can agree on,
Marcus?
I think that whenever we do these, if we bring in the extra superpower, that always tips it. So we know Elektra doesn't have that type of superpower. Whether she has a mind thing, that still is not equal to a sonic stream. The sonic stream the superpower will always be the non-superpower, except for maybe Batman. Batman.
Yeah.
If neither one of them have any psychic superpowers, I say Elektra wins.
All right. So on fighting skills. So go around. Each of us. Fighting skills, who's better? John, who's got just fighting skills, who's better?
I'd say Elektra.
Marcus?
I would say Elektra.
Yeah, I'll probably go with Elektra too. So if it's just a contest of fighting skills, Elektra probably wins.
Right.
So I think that kind of determines the winner, sort of.
Right. But I think typical, like, if you aggregate the characters and allow the sonic scream.
Well, if Elektra has Black Canary down, the Sai is at her neck like this, then there's no other choice. Then Black Canary is going to use her sonic scream whether she wants to or not.
Right.
She's going to have to use it to save herself, and that's what will win, at least enough to knock Elektra back, and maybe knock her out. That's it. If she's on right at the losing end, that's possible.
So there you go. yeah, I think that pretty much sums it
I
up.
now just drew that in my head.
What do you guys think for next week? Now is the time, which I think is the hardest part of It's Clobberin Time. Is what do you guys want to do for next week? And it drives me nuts because I thought of one and then instantly forgot it.
I think you did a great job last week, boys, on Punisher Dread. That was terrific.
Oh,
thumbs up for that.
Considering I Dread, I'm happy, that it worked out so good. Oh, geez, I had one in my head and now I can't remember what it was.
Would you want to go sort of more super powered after sort of quite a grounded one, or do you want to stay with grounded characters?
Daredevil versus Raphael. That's one of the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, it's
interesting.
I read one Ninja Turtle comic in my life, and so I don't know if I could do that. I'm kind of uncomfortable if I can't participate. This was pretty good. Thank you. Oh, it drives me nuts.
All right, have you done Doctor Strange, Doctor Fate yet?
Oh yeah,
I missed that one.
Yeah.
He did Silver Surfer, Green Lantern.
Yeah,
big fan of Green Lantern. Yeah, I think he's very underrated, Green Lantern, really. But anyway, all right, let's think. Looking around for comic book inspiration. Stand by. What have I got there?
What about the Vision and the Red Tornado?
Very different. Very interesting. Trying to think of who the equivalent, the DC equivalent of Vision, sort of Red Tornado and sort of not.
Ghost Rider
and Spawn.
I think Ghost Rider Spawn.
We did a Spawn not long ago.
Right.
I have to see if I don't know. The trouble with that one is you start thinking of it. Ghost Rider does not have the superpower Spawn does. Spawn has superpowers coming out his butt. I mean, anytime you need a superpower, Spawn's got a new one. So
Hawkeye
versus Green Arrow.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Spider-Man, Slade versus Deathstroke.
Spider-Man's got a lot more powers than you think.
Yeah,
Spider-Man's pretty powerful.
Spider-Man's very powerful.
Spider-Man's pretty powerful.
I like. I know we just did Spawn, but I'm leaning towards this.
I had a team suggestion. I had a team battle suggestion.
What?
The 4 Elementals against the 4 original X-Men as X-Factor.
That's a good one. Elementals is kind of obscure though. I was thinking, but then Elementals versus the Fantastic Four.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Has anyone ever done Fantastic Four X-Men? Like original X-Men against Fantastic Four?
No, not I did the original X-Men versus the original Doom Patrol.
Yeah, we did that one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that was fun. I was thinking like Luke Skywalker versus Buck Rogers, but like, can we really argue that? Like,
Yeah, Buck Rogers wins. Luke Skywalker's a wimp.
Yeah.
Well, he is now. He wasn't in 1983.
True.
Dr. Doom against Lex Luthor.
I like somebody said Lex Luthor and Dr. Doom in a game of chess.
It's not bad.
Yeah. And I would say
if we did teams, how long would that thing go? I mean, we're talking 2 hours plus.
Quick Lex Luthor versus Dr. Doom in a game of chess. Lex Luthor, because I think Lex Luthor is more patient and more cunning, which is what you need in chess. Whereas I think Dr. Doom is more immediate gratification. So Dr. Doom would just throw it up in the air and like try to choke out Lex Luthor.
Dr. Doom is also insane. He refers to himself in the third person all the time.
Right.
All of his, you have angered Doom for the last time. He talks about himself in the third person. He's crazy.
Luthor absolutely nuts. Dr. Doom would obliterate him with a power beam.
Yeah. It drives me nuts that I thought of one. I knew I should have written it down. I knew I should have wrote it down.
How about the Two-Gun Kid versus DC's Western Thunderbolt?
Two-Gun Kid.
Sergeant Fury versus Sergeant
Sergeant Rock.
Sergeant Rock.
Huh.
Hmm.
Which Sergeant Fury, though, you know? There's only been one Sergeant Rock.
It's true. Hmm.
How about I know people aren't gonna take this, but how about the Invisible Woman versus Wonder Woman?
Who could do that?
Interesting.
I like that. The Invisible Woman versus Wonder Woman. What do you guys think?
This is Wonder Woman.
You have to get creative with Invisible Woman and remember how powerful she actually is.
Right.
Yeah. It's an interesting mix, that one. I mean, because can Wonder Woman actually, physically resist?
No, we can't spoil it. We can't spoil it.
Mm.
Well, the current Wonder Woman, yes, is almost as strong as Superman. But Wonder Woman was not always that strong. She was always super strong, but not always as strong as Superman in most of her career.
Yeah, but Wonder Woman too is a character who, under some writers, will kill opponents.
Right.
Whereas other ones she won't.
Yeah, I think that's a mistake. I think having Wonder Woman as his bloodthirsty warrior woman from the island of Lesbos is a mistake.
Mm.
I think that having her more of kind of like Superman-ish Captain America is better, and that's what she was that's only been the last 20 years, this harsh Wonder Woman,
Is it a bit of a pickle? I'm looking around the comics in the background.
Linda Carter's insane,
so trying to think of who would be a good match for an evil version of Scarlet Witch, because Scarlet Witch seems to turn evil every second week.
Black Panther versus Animal Man.
That's a good one.
Depends who's writing Animal Man, because Grant Morrison maybe not, but who'd be a good matchup for Black Panther? Have you done any Flash matchups recently?
I did Hulk versus Flash, was the very first.
Yeah, I wasn't in that one.
Yeah, I had a different co-host back then.
Difficult.
Magic users, and I still say if Scarlet Witch is done properly, she doesn't have magic. She doesn't have not every week, every 4 weeks or so.
Well, she was taught magic. I mean, that's fair.
Yeah. Reality warping powers are really a super lazy plot device for comic book writers, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, the only person I've seen
before they made it really powerful, they had to get fired all the time.
Cthulhu versus Godzilla.
The only person who did reality warping powers particularly well was Alan Moore in the 1982 Captain Britain series.
How about Cyborg versus Deathlock?
Oh, yeah, done.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's great.
Okay, Cyborg versus Deathlock.
That's really good.
I think that Deathlock still has genitals and Cyborg does not, so we'll see.
All right. So
sorry,
I'm gonna close this out.
That was a joke about Cyborg.
I think I'm gonna go back to Yang Yao's channel. He's he launched his Kickstarter tonight.
You abandoned him for this?
Well, yeah, I already had it scheduled. He just invited me like 2 hours ago.
All right.
So I said I got to leave. I got to do this, and I'll come back. So if everybody, what is the name of his channel? Let me get to geez, why can't I do anything right? I want to get to your channel. There we go. All right, your channel. I want to give you what is the name of his channel. Oh, I guess he's done. Oh well, let's see. Is he done? Is he live?
I'm saved.
Yeah, he's done. All right. Oh well.
Sorry. Now I feel guilty.
Okay, so he's done. All right, so do whatever you want. Also, go to Kickstarter. What is the name of the
Immortal Rising? No, he's on Indie.
Immortal Rising. That's yeah. We were just talking on Russ Leach has the Atlantean.
Right. He's going to be a Kickstarter, right?
Right. So I'm going to put this in here. Check this out. There you go. So I'm gonna click on that. Bring this campaign up. This is the Atlantean for Russ Leach, another one of my buddies. I'm gonna bring this up right now. This is live right now. There we go. I'll make this big. So check this out. This is Kull the Conqueror. This is
that's cool.
Yeah,
that is cool.
Randy Zimmerman is writing it. Russ Leach draws it, and man, these guys love their barbarians. Look at this cover. So they want to try to make this like maybe a quarterly comic or magazine rather. Just here's the interior artwork. This is Kull. He just did another one of Conan. I got to admit, I don't know Kull as well as I know Conan. So this is available right
he's
now.
kind of like a pre-Conan.
Yeah. It's
Conan before Conan was cool.
Right. So here you go. This is available right now. So
Conan is a descendant.
Check that out. And I'm going to shut this down. I'm going to end. So thanks a lot, everybody. Next week.
Okay. Take it easy. Thanks, John.
Death Luck. Thanks, everybody.
John. Thanks, Marcus.
Thanks, everybody in the chat.
Thanks, lads.
Bye-bye.
All right.